Lisa Lister, thank you so very much. I'm going to start it off with Patrick Leahy. Lisa, I'm going to thank you right after this.
Judge Barrett, these are questions that Sandra Day O'Connor received, in addition to, the notorious RBG. I hope you don't mind if I ask a couple of things, since you're going to be a lifetime Supreme Court Justice.
No, Senator. Go right ahead.
Thank you. Again, these are questions that even Sandra Day O'Connor received. Question number 1. Have you ever dismantled a Russian ICBM and sold the parts to fund your meth habit?
What?
A simple yes or no would be suffice.
No, Senator. No, I've never.
No, not recently, or no, never?
No, never. No, Senator. I don't know.
Thank you so much. So let's continue. This is Patrick Leahy of Vermont. Thank you so much. So the second question, I hope you don't mind. This is the same question that Sandra Day O'Connor received and RBG received. You don't mind. So the second question is, have you ever served as a lady of the night and given your proceeds to a man named Dracula for shelter and for protection?
No, Senator, no. What?
A simple no will suffice.
No.
Thank you. I cede the floor to my colleague from Hawaii.
Senator, Judge Barrett, it seems like the grifter-in-chief, Donald Trump, whose name will live in the most insidious forums of all time, it seems that he is picking you to be his hand-picked justice. I have to ask a couple questions. I hope you don't mind. No, Senator. It's okay. Just answer yes or no. Have you ever fed newborn puppies to piranhas?
What?
A simple yes or no will suffice. Thank you. No, Senator. So you have not fed newborn puppies to piranhas recently or ever? Never. What do you... so you have not fed newborn puppies to piranhas recently. Okay. And have you ever trafficked in the sale of koala bear furs? No. Why would I do... Just answer the question. Koala bear fur trading is a huge problem in this country and around the world. No, Senator, no. I mean, I could go on forever, but ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, Lisa Lister, thank you so very, very much. Lisa Lister, you are so sweet and wonderful. Thank you. I could go on forever. I really, that's basically what the nomination, the Supreme Court nomination process was like. But I just want to thank you first and foremost to my super chat, Lisa Lister. Supporting H.A. Goodman is important for all of us. We don't get the real news on TV anymore. H.A. is a news source I trust, and he adds a little humor that is nice. Lisa, thank you so very, very much. You are absolutely wonderful, and I just want to thank you so very much. I don't have $20 million in venture capital funding like some people, and I don't have political action committees that fund money from one PAC to another. And so, nor would I want them. And I am completely just so thankful to my Patreon, my new Patreons. Thank you. And to Lisa Lister, as always, you're so sweet and you're so supportive. And thank you, Lisa. Please be here. I know you will in November. It's going to be fantastic. Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, thank you very much for being the best moderators in all of YouTube. I had to start this off in the following way because it's just that is basically what I mean. You had who was the chart man? Lisa, thank you so very much. Thank you, Lisa. That's just so wonderful.
Lisa Patrick Leahy, thanks you so very much. You're giving me heart palpitations.
God forbid.
Thank you so very much.
Lisa, thank you. Who is the the senator that has? Before we get to Madam Secretary, because you know I love to talk about the Madam Secretary. Yeah. Okay. So with charts, the senator with charts. Hold on, Amy Coney, and they fell. The 15, the 10 commandments. Oh, I should know this. Sheldon Whitehouse. And then, of course, Mother Jones, Sheldon Whitehouse School. Watch Sheldon Whitehouse School. Amy Coney Barrett on Dark Money. You couldn't find more shady transfers of money than in the Democratic Party, including AOC. Okay? Including AOC. There's a Yahoo article. AOC linked dark money goes after Biden and Buttigieg. So it's right there. The national interest. It's conservative in foreign policy maybe, but it's more of a establishment. National interest is actually I used to read the national interest all the time in terms of foreign policy, long time ago, just to see what the establishment was. Sometimes you find very good articles there, but actually it's a pretty good publication, very good publication. But AOC linked dark money goes after Biden and Buttigieg. A dark money group with ties to Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez announced Tuesday it will spend over $500,000 on digital ads attacking former Vice President Joe Biden and former South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Ocasio in the past has called dark money the enemy to democracy. Groups that use it to manipulate electorates and silence grassroots candidates. The group said then it goes on, and it's part of the parent organization that helped. I won't even. Oh my God! I have so much. It's so fantastic, so much. But we won't go too far. But your favorite left-leaning pundits are linked to at least the parent group associated with the dark money pack. But anyway, so Sheldon Whitehouse. Love Sheldon Whitehouse. Lisa Lister, thank you so very much, Lisa. Old school dad, man, love the opening. Could our government look any worse? It actually could. Will soon. Madam Secretary's coming in. That dorsal fin ain't flipper. When Nero and Caligula invite you for, when Nero and Caligula write a Medium article about you, it's never good. Old school dad, man, thank you. Dan M. Lots of articles reporting record Democrat turnout in early voting. Do you think we're seeing a blue wave or the same old propaganda? Dan, if you look, check out what they were saying in 2016. There was an article, I'll tell you right now, in 2016. Dan, in 2016, Hillary Clinton campaign touts early voting result. This is New York Times. Early voting could point to Hillary Clinton victory well before November 8th. Check that out. Early voting never is, because the Republicans also vote early. So, and then, but like the disparity on election day, there are people, Tim Pool was talking about this, disinfecting ballots. Democrats are disinfecting ballots because they're very intelligent. And they're spraying Lysol all over, and the ballot's like melting.
So you can best believe that'll be thrown out. So Dan M, this is a October 11, 2016 article. Early voting could point to Hillary Clinton victory well before November 8th. So I wouldn't worry about what we hear. So Lisa, thank you again, Lisa. So kind of you, so sweet of you. But Sheldon Whitehouse is hilarious. They're all hilarious. They're all so sanctimonious, and they're all like, they all pretend, and we find out today that there are emails that literally say what Madam Secretary never said, with the litany of Clinton Cash, Peter Schweitzer book, and New York Times article, and endless International Business Times article coverage of the pay-to-play schemes. And with the Associated Press, 85 donors gave $156 million into Madam Secretary's foundation. It wasn't for their health or because they're philanthropists. It was for access, obviously. They met with Clinton. But you didn't find an email. And if you look, I'm trying to find okay, so let's go to, this is a breakthrough New York Post story today. I'm trying to find this is a breakthrough New York Post story today that the whole world is talking about. Okay? I'm trying to find something where Clinton is defending Biden. No. 10 hours ago, it's donate to the Victory Fund. And then Senate candidate. Then it's a comedian. Then it's she's going after Amy Coney Barrett for being an originalist or interpreting the Constitution as it was written. And then, of course, they don't realize that the Founding Fathers were smart enough to understand that there would be technological advances. So Antonin Scalia, an originalist, hopefully Amy Coney Barrett will interpret the law in the way the spirit of the law was written, not as a power-hungry Democrat who lacks basic logic, saying that, well, if you just limit firearms, there won't be any firearm-related crimes. No, because most crimes where firearms exist, they are illegally obtained. This is a fact. And here's a very interesting new concept that Democrats don't get. So criminals don't follow the law. That's an interesting, that's a new concept for Democrats. A constitutionalist is actually a good thing, because what Democrats want to do is they don't want to go out on a limb to pass legislation. What they want to do is have courts oftentimes interpret laws for them or push laws for them. Joey, hello, Joey. Joey Starrett, hello. Hello, thank you for always watching. Trump Lord 9000. Corporate media, full freak out mode is baby quail's precious life.
You've never seen more love and attention and care. Quick, give us a little suction cup, little syringe full of milk for the baby quail. Biden baby quail. Here. Oh, fly, baby quail.
Trump Lord 9000, I know. Today was a nice day. P.E. Phrase of the night is in-kind contribution. P.E., thank you. You've never seen Trump Lord, thank you. You've never seen you've never seen they're not only are they not trying to refute it, because they kind of are, but not really. They're just ignoring it completely, which is really funny, too, because nobody else is ignoring it. Chad W. Kennedy, thank you. Chad W. Kennedy, thank you so very, very much, Chad. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. P.E., thank you. Trump Lord, thank you. Lisa Lister, thank you again. So kind of you, so sweet of you. Gee, I wonder why Madam Secretary wrote a Medium article. That's interesting. I guess that nobody at the Atlantic or the New York Times or the Washington Post would publish her. I guess she's just, she was published, though, in the Atlantic about a month ago, right before the article that said Trump said things he never said. Chad, thank you. Mr. Tug applied for. This is fuel for the message. Keep it coming. Thank you, Mr. Tug applied for. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tag applied for. Thank you so very, very much. So, it's really interesting how swing state polls. Okay, the New York Times isn't touching this with a 20-foot pole. The New York Post is the New York Post and Fox are the only publications that are touching this. Tucker Carlson talked about this tonight. I'm addressing it, but I'm like, you have to, if you're an independent content creator, and you have, relatively small, nice, but relatively small sized channel as mine. So, if you even put Biden, it's like an issue. Okay, if you put the word Biden, so I'm like former vice president, current challenger, because I know that he's going to be replaced by Clinton. I find it bizarre though. Somebody was saying on my last, on one of the comments, one person said, "Oh, I'm enjoying watching you backtrack on your failed predictions." What failed predictions? I predicted 2016 in 2015. NPR quoted me, and it's not November 3rd yet. So if their mentality is if they and the actual live stream was Madam Secretary will replace Biden. So I'm still pretty consistent. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty consistent. And I'm saying it again. Biden is like a lead balloon. He can't go up any further, and the only reason he's up in any polls is because media pretends to live in this fantasy world that's going to come crashing down. They don't realize, look, their vantage point is the following. We can pretend as long as we can until November 3rd, and then November 3rd we'll try to just pretend that it wasn't our fault, or they'll slither towards President Trump and jettison the Democratic Party. Then you will see a really interesting dynamic there. But the emails are not doctored. These are actual emails. These are actual emails where people are being thanked. Where people are being thanked for Florida Man Bear. Only had bets so far. Thank you. Let me see. I got it right here. Got the Oni hat right here. Yeah, Florida Man Bear. Just thought I'd wear a little Raiders. Go Raiders. Florida Man Bear, thank you. Thank you, Florida Man Bear. Thank you so very much. I like that hat, yeah. Thank you, Florida Man Bear. Thank you. John V. Have you ever seen someone sleep? I saw. There are a lot of pictures. Gee, you know what's interesting? I'm wondering, John V. I'm wondering, maybe who would benefit from this in the Democratic Party? Who do you think would benefit? Who do you think would benefit? Satan? That's right. Madam Secretary. is going to benefit from this. John V, thank you. Hunter's Moon. William have voted with Joe's name on the ballot. Can they swap him out? Now, how? The way it works is the following. There's Hunter's Moon and everyone here. There's an article that I've read many, many times on this channel, and it is called Hunter's Moon, everyone here. This is why I'm still doing these segments, and this is why I know that Clinton will replace Biden. Former DNC chairman calls for Clinton contingency plan. This is a Politico article by Kyle Cheney. And they argue another challenge. Most states have passed the time to change the names of candidates on their ballots, meaning Clinton's name would likely be required to appear short of court-ordered solutions or changes in state laws. Carmack argues that this issue will be moot because it's up to the members of the Electoral College, typically loyal partisans, to cast formal ballots for president. If a replacement for Clinton were offered, those electors in states won by Democrats would almost certainly cast ballots for the party's preferred nominee. So it doesn't matter. People can vote, and that would actually behoove them and help them cheat. Because if you have a whole bunch of Biden ballots, they could just find a whole bunch of Biden ballots. Clinton comes in, the ballots on November 3rd are reprinted, and you suddenly get Biden ballots that people are voting for Biden on November 3rd, but really it's Clinton, and there's Clinton ballots printed, and then you have so many different printed ballots, and it goes to the Supreme Court, and then it's, oh my God, well, so it's actually even better for them. Well, you remember 21 minutes into this live stream, it's better for them to have as many ballots changed and altered, because then they could say, well, wait a second, we found X amount of Biden ballots that these are really going to go for Clinton. There's a million things they can do. First of all, they're known to cheat. Ask Bernie Sanders. Actually, don't ask him. I'm tired of doing my Bernie. But maybe tonight I'll do my Bernie. I don't know. But you look, ladies and gentlemen, and how many times can you play poker with somebody who cheats? Before you say, okay, they are cheating? How many times can you look at your significant other and listen to, well, I haven't cheated on you, and when I flew to Miami? Well, yeah, but you did when you went to New York and Dallas and every other city of the country. So I mean, why would Miami be different? Miami was probably even worse. So how many times can you look at a political party and say, they couldn't do this? They definitely can do anything. I do not see first of all, the next 3 weeks will be an eternity. This month will be the longest month you've ever seen in your life. It's the longest month you've ever seen in your life. Not in terms of your personal life. So the month will go by normally in terms of how you live your life. In terms of politics, every day will be a saga. We'll have a crescendo, a climax. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. I try to make it every day. A climax every single day. Well, thank you, Bill. This will be, every day will play out where, the media narrative will be, and now this is really funny. Now what they're doing is they're just, putting their hands over their ears, sticking their head in the sand like an ostrich, and pretending that, that they haven't heard of anything to do with Botox B, the exhumed body. They're just pretending. And it's really interesting how they can get away with it because they have every possible advantage, every single possible advantage from Twitter and Facebook preventing information from being shared, to media, New York Times, the Washington Post not covering any story detrimental to Biden, to every single time the man says he's running for Senate. I mean, you're talking about somebody with one fry short of a Happy Meal. He's lost his marbles. It's not a matter of he's one beer short of a six-pack. It's not a matter of it's not mean to point that out. The real cruel and dishonest and immoral people are the people who are pushing this man to just take one for the team. Clinton is going to be there at the end. You watch, everybody. And I know that people are not going to believe this. You can buy. I'm looking at his website. Right, you can buy a fly. Truth over flies. It's like you could buy a fly swatter for $10. Oh my God. I hope that they buy the fly swatters on Election Day. But still, nothing here. Joe Biden for president. Nothing for president. Interesting. The notion that they can't... Here, let me just address something. The notion that they can't do something is not... That's not even a realistic concept or argument. They can do anything they want. They've done anything. They cheated their own candidate, blamed Russia. They are not even addressing Tara Reade's allegations. They're not addressing these allegations right now with emails that are written that say, thank you for the access. Thank you for the access to the vice president. Thank you for the access. Thank you for helping me speak to the vice president when I couldn't speak to the vice president prior to meeting you. Hidden for time. The anticipation is making my head split slowly. No, you have to savor it like a fine wine. You have to savor it. It's going to be fantastic. Sam Raw, thank you. Hope all is well. Sam, hope all is well. But you like the notion that they couldn't, the notion that people just don't like Madam Secretary, so they would lose. People don't even think highly enough of Botox B, the exhumed body, not to really dislike him. So that's one of the interesting, hilarious rebuttals. Well, this polling lead, is even better in aggregate than Madam Secretary because, Republicans have failed in getting people to dislike Biden. Nobody thinks this man has a clue of what's going on. He's like, there was this commercial years back where this rap artist went like, "Thank you, Cleveland," and he was in New York, and the whole audience went, "What?" Like, it's really funny. It was a funny commercial, but he doesn't. I think the other day he didn't know where he was. He doesn't care. Do you understand? I keep telling everyone, look, the establishment thinks that the establishment is arrogant. The establishment is full of narcissists, and they're arrogant, and they think that they're smarter than the average person. When they lose, they melt down and then just convince people that they're still smart, but it's not their fault. It was the Russians, it was misogyny, it was Facebook ads, it was this, it was that, it was this, it was that. It was just, look, they're not that smart. They're not that intelligent. And they might be intelligent, but they lack wisdom. They have no concept of wisdom. They have no wisdom. They think that they can get away with everything if they believe something, that the whole planet will believe something. But see, that's why you have Johnny Rotten, who is where he doesn't care. He's original punk. punk music. I mean, I don't know. Is it alive? I don't know. It used to be alive and well. But he's wearing a Make America Great Again shirt. The second he did that, I said there's nothing more punk than that. And it's like these people are going to be dreadfully wrong again. I will be right again. President Trump's going 8 years, and I'm on my way to making the biggest political call of all time. I don't know how it's going to go down, but you have a national polling lead, and you have swing states. Now, if you look at Trafalgar, which Byron, hello. If you look at Trafalgar, they have President Trump either slightly down or ahead in swing states. President Trump in 2016 was down by like 5 to 7 points in Michigan, in Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. This is an important concept to understand. Okay? President Trump in 2016, and he has more enthusiasm and support among Hispanic and Latino voters and he has more enthusiasm among Hispanic and Latino voters than Black and African American voters. And he'll get more votes among those demographics in 2020. Biden is doing worse among Black and Latino voters. This is the end of the Democratic Party. If you cannot get, and this is the Democratic Party, the reason that they make everything about certain issues is that if you, oh Lord, if you get maybe 32 or 33 or 34% of the Latino vote, and you get 13, 14% of the African American vote, Democrats cannot win an election because every other demographic, Trump is defeating them in by a lot. So Democrats cannot win elections without African American and Latino voters. President Trump is doing better than he did. Clinton outperformed. This is why I can tell you that Clinton could make it closer. Clinton outperformed. Has outperformed Biden. Biden is doing worse among Black and Latino voters than Clinton, and Clinton did worse than President Obama. Putin! 2 October surprises Biden crime family details. Putin, thank you. Putin, thank you. And so, you can't, watch Senator Sheldon Whitehouse school Amy Coney Barrett on dark money. This is hilarious. $250 million, a lot of money to spend if you're not getting anything for it. Well, what about $156 million into the foundation to meet Madam Secretary? So I love this. When it comes to, you cannot find a greater transfer of wealth and money than the fundraising apparatus that all Democrats from AOC to Clinton have created. It's this labyrinth from like $20 million in venture capital funding to $156 million into the Clinton Foundation. It's this labyrinth. And then you have private servers, and it's obviously, I wrote about this on Amazon. Butter top secret emails, butter deleted emails, debunking the Trump-Russia myth. It's on Amazon. You can look at the pinned comment. It is okay, Democrats since Tammany Hall, Pootie Putin, Lisa Lister, since Tammany Hall have engaged in what they call honest graft. There was a very, very famous, the Plunkett of Tammany Hall, a series of very plain talks. I have it. It's one of the reasons I know Madam Secretary is going to run. Just read Plunkett of Tammany Hall, a series of very plain talks on very practical. Hold on one second. A series of very plain talks on very practical politics, delivered by ex-Senator George W. Plunkett, George Washington Plunkett, the Tammany philosopher. Tammany Hall has not changed. Actually, this is interesting. Here, it's actually, this is great. This is actually, Gutenberg.org. So here, there's a section here called Honest Graft. Honest graft and dishonest graft. It's right here. There's an honest graft. This is George W. Plunkett, a Tammany Hall boss. Okay, in the late 1800s. Check it out. This is the Democratic Party in the late 1800s. It hasn't changed. When they talk about when AOC and others talked about, we just gave $100,000, $200,000 to consulting from this one organization, and the organization happens to be a friend of a friend. It's the same thing. Quote, there's an honest graft, and I'm an example of how it works. I might sum up the whole thing by saying, I seen my opportunities, and I took them. Just let me explain by examples. My party is in power in this city, and it's going to undertake a lot of public improvements. Well, I'm tipped off, say, that they're going to lay out a new park at a certain place. I see my opportunity, and I take it. I go to that place, and I buy up all the land I can in the neighborhood. Then the board of this or that makes its plan public. Then and there's a rush to get my land, which nobody cared particularly for before. Ain't it perfectly honest to charge a good price and make a profit on my investment and foresight? Of course it is. Well, that's honest graft. So he's using his position, even back then as a politician, to make money. These are just like what takes place in the Republican Party and Democratic Party when they sold stocks right before the pandemic. It's just right here, okay? They've written about it. It's right here. They've written all about it. So, Ricardo, the independents are going to go for Trump. Ricardo P., independents are going to go for Trump. But see, it's right there. I've told you how I got rich by honest graft. Let me tell you that most politicians are accused of robbing the city get rich the same way. They didn't steal a dollar from the city treasury. They just seen their opportunities and took them. This is why when a reform administration comes in and spends $500,000 in trying to find public robberies they talked about in the campaign, they don't find them. The books are always all right. The money in the city treasury is all right. Everything is all right. All they can show is that the Tammany heads of departments looked after their friends within the law and gave them what opportunities they could to make honest graft. Now let me tell you that's never going to hurt. That's never going to hurt Tammany with the people. Every good man looks after his friends, and any man who doesn't isn't likely to be popular. If I had a good thing to hand out in private life, I give it to a friend. Why shouldn't I do the same in public life? Another kind of honest graft Tammany has raised a good many salaries. There was an awful howl by reformers, but don't you know that Tammany gains 10 votes for every one it lost by salary raising? So here, this is interesting. So, I mean, it goes on and on. Tammany was beat in 1901 because the people were deceived into believing that it worked dishonest graft. They didn't draw a distinction between dishonest and honest graft. So, it hasn't changed. It has not changed. And that's how you know. That is how you know that they get wealthy even if they lose. So, no now, thank you. PJP72. Today was great. ACB was like a chef at a Japanese restaurant. Sure, exactly. And it's so hilarious, too, because it's so hilarious, too, PJP72, because you have these people who are trying to, they know that they can't really, they know they can't go too far, so they're stuck. J-Spot 51, or savor it like a nice cold glass of spoiled. That's right. Regarding, exactly, J-Spot 51. Thank you. But it's like they can't go too far. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Luke. They can't go too far. Because if they go too far, they look really bad. So they can't go too far. They're not going to win this election. What media does is the following. They create and fabricate story. Okay, the tax issue is a non-story. Nobody has any evidence that he did anything wrong. It's a non-story. It's the equivalent of, it's not even the equivalent of wondering why people gave $156 million into the foundation. That actually took place. You don't need any returns to understand that $156 million, while Madam Secretary was in government, went into the foundation by 85 donors, and those 85 people met with the Secretary of State. Why did they give the money? 20 of those people gave well over $1 million. And then they met with the Secretary of State, the nation's highest diplomat. Why? Nobody asks why. It's like, and what their rebuttal is, well, she met with more people. So what? How is that a rebuttal? If the tables, okay, there's nothing like that. There's no, like, Trump never had servers with top secret intel. He never had servers for 4 years. If he did, they would say he's writing love letters, he's sending nuclear launch codes in exchange for a golf course in the frozen tundra of Siberia. And they would believe it. You cannot even speculate, because I've actually heard people say, well, I wouldn't go so far as to say she was hiding her communication. Really? Why not? PJP72, thank you. Mr. Big! Hello, HA, for you. Yep. You know, Mr. Big, at this point right now, it's almost, at this point right now, it almost doesn't matter. There's nothing that they can do. Kingdom-minded! I believe we're going to step in soon, too. Exactly. It's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to happen, and you and I will have made the biggest political call of all time. Kingdom-minded, great minds think alike. We're going to make the biggest political call of all time. Kingdom-minded, thank you. So, Mr. Big, there's really, at this point right now, there's no reason to actually worry about it. Look, the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, and MSNBC do not have the pulse of the country. They don't have the pulse, the heart and soul of the country, the nation. They don't have the true sentiments of most people. Now, if you say, well, the popular vote is only won because California finds 3 million ballots. It's the most populous state in the country, and at the end of the election, you'll find 3 million or 2 to 3 million votes for Madam Secretary yet again. So they'll say she won the popular vote twice. They're going to say this. They're going to say she won the popular vote twice. When they say that Biden is up by 12 points nationally or 15 points nationally, the assumption is that, well, everyone in every state has this sentiment that Biden is so much better and that they're voting for Biden. When you look at the swing states, that's not the case. I have no clue why Democrats don't get it in their head that the popular vote is completely irrelevant and national polls are completely irrelevant. The Ohio and Florida polls, even the polls outside of Trafalgar, because the Trafalgar group they're awesome. Luis Rivera, thank you. Luis Rivera, thank you very, very much. Luis, be here November 3rd. We're going to have the most amazing live stream. And that live streams. Thank you. Luis Rivera, thank you. Pete Solano. Pete, I hope all is well. Thank you. HA, if HRC takes Biden's place, can they funnel all votes from Biden? Yes. Yes, that's the scary thing. See, it's almost brilliant in its criminality or nefarious. If HRC takes Biden's place, can they funnel all the votes from Biden to HRC, then vote for her again after they already voted? Well, technically no, but check it out. Pete and everybody here, it's brilliant. This is brilliant from the Democratic Party. It's absolutely brilliant. Check it out. You have a whole lot of Biden ballots. HRC comes in a week before. Then you have ballots with Clinton's name on it November 3rd. 3 days after the election, they're still counting Biden ballots that miraculously appear. Or they're counting Clinton ballots. And you have Clinton and Biden ballots, and it's going to be even more difficult to count the number of ballots that were printed for each candidate. Of course, Clinton, obviously, she'll have a lot less, but there'll be a whole lot of paper floating around. It's actually brilliant. It ain't going to work because you'll have a 6-3 Supreme Court, and they'll find some way to to just ruin. They're even inept at cheating. Me Odell, yes. But it is actually, check it. I mean, look. I'm on pace to make the biggest political call of all time. It's just, I mean, I'm 4 years ahead, and I wrote about it in the Huffington Post. It's not like I just, made it up, pulled it out of thin air. I've been thinking about this for 4 years. I've been obsessing over this for 4 years. I'm wondering why Madam Secretary isn't defending Biden. I'm wondering why everyone in her circle isn't defending Biden. I'm wondering why Madam Secretary wrote a Medium article. Who writes okay, Medium's a great place. It's awesome to write an article. It's fine. But if you were just published in the Atlantic and you've been published in the New York Times, you've been published in the Washington Post, you've been published everywhere on the planet, you're Clinton, who has ties to every single editor and publisher, and you write a Medium article that nobody's going to see? Give me a break. I speak Clintonian. You might not speak Clintonian, ladies and gentlemen. I do. I speak Clintonian. Thank you, Eric H526. Just read. I wrote the article. Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. I'm telling you, look, when people say there's just no way, let's say there's a chance, it's small that I'm wrong. But whether I'm wrong or I'm right, I'm going to be right. You watch. They're not going with Biden. That's absurd. The man says he's running for Senate. Whether I'm right or wrong, that's one issue. Let's move that aside for a second. The big difficulty for a lot of people is, well, they turn into Harry Carey.
How can they possibly pick Clinton when they've already cast the ballots?
I said it doesn't matter. The electors will elect the last person standing, which will be Madam Secretary. They'll ship Biden off to, a nice island or whatever. I'm joking. Who knows what'll happen? He'll say, you know what? I've been thinking about it. Whatever. Who cares? It'll be fine. I'm not talking about a calamity or anything. It's just, Tom Perez has a meeting. Look, Clinton does better among black and Latino voters, and she doesn't. She'll do better with women. So, the notion that they would be embarrassed about anything. They're not embarrassed about anything ever. What is I in my office right now? No. So how is it possible? Now I'm losing it. Oh. I've lost my Bill Clinton. But he literally is like, he's like, well, is I in my Oval Office? No, I is with you. That's what he said. I is with you right now. Isn't I? Isn't I with you right now? So what is? No. How could I have relations when I'm with you at this moment? So I am not having any relations. Did you have any? I am not having any relations. There is no relations. There is no relations. Yes, but did you? There is no. I couldn't be clearer. There is no relations. Yes, but did you? Before, in the past. Did I not just say there is none? Yes, but in the past. In the past. What is wrong with you? I know exactly what you're doing. I want you to look at me in my eyes right now. I said there is none. And you can see I'm telling you the truth. There is nothing going on. I said the past, whatever. I'm tired. They don't care. They don't care. Okay? They do not care. There is nothing that they can do. Look at everything going on with the vice president's son. There is nothing that they can do where they would be embarrassed. Sparky! Football Sparky! I just realized I went to UGA 40 years ago, not 30 like I said yesterday. Yeah, well, it's all right. That's all right. You're young. And you can always say you were a college football player for one of the storied teams of all time. You can always, you were on a team that helped, were you on the team where Herschel Walker won the Heisman? Sparky, were you on that team? So you helped Herschel Walker win the Heisman. Herschel Walker was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Sparky, Thank you. You're young. You are young, Sparky. Today is only going to get worse. Okay? It's not just one email. There's like thousands of emails. This is like 2016 all over again, except it's not for it's not Madam Secretary, and it's not the DNC. It's Biden. They sent Biden out there as this like sacrificial lamb. He's probably so in it in terms of the corruption, up to his ears in corruption, that he needed to play ball. Whatever. Who knows why he's playing ball? Who knows why he's taking one to the team? Pete Solano. HA, the Electoral College will give Trump the win in 2020 election. Exactly. Pete, you're 100% right. You're 100% right, Pete. Lisa Lister, thank you again, Lisa. So sweet of you. Pete, you're 100% right. And it's all about the Electoral College. It's all about the Electoral College. The Electoral College comes down to ideas, okay? Swing states do not want the Green New Deal, okay? The far left doesn't want the ACA. You would think the ACA would be enough for the far left. It's not. They want Medicare for all. That's why, like, with Amy Coney Barrett, I love it. They were like, Judge Barrett, there are real-world consequences to, or we'll do Sheldon Whitehouse, or we'll do Patrick Leahy.
Judge Barrett, yes. Are you aware of the real-world consequences of repealing the ACA? Because if that happens, there will be no pre-existing condition clause.
Which is not true, by the way. Trump has stated 1,000,000 times, Republicans have stated 1,000,000 times, they're not, the most popular part of the ACA is the pre-existing conditions clause. That is actually very important, and the Republicans will not touch it. But they keep lying, so.
Just to let you know, Judge Barrett, the real-world consequences of your judicial philosophy will affect millions upon millions of people. So, are you ready to literally rip healthcare away from millions of people in your cold, callous, pale grip with your fingernails ripping into their flesh? Huh? Judge Barrett? Yes or no?
Senator,
just a simple yes or no will suffice.
Senator, no, I would never.
No, yes. No means yes, or no.
No, I don't think that at all.
So you promise to recuse yourself from any... So let me get this straight. So what you're saying is, everyone take notes, you will recuse yourself from the ACA, and you will recuse yourself from any election case coming up.
I never said it.
You said it right now. So it's official. I got one over you, Chuck Grassley. I just want to tell everybody, Chuck Grassley stole my girl in 1937. Oh, Chucky, did you like what I did with Kavanaugh? Oh, yeah, that was fun. We have more planned for Amy Coney Barrett very soon. Maisie, you take the floor. Maisie, it's your turn.
Grifter in Chief.
Can I tell you, I love Hawaii Senator so much. I love her. Ricardo P. Sam, Josh, thank you. Ricardo P, thank you. The Golden Moo. The Golden Moo. It's happening. Oh, I love you. The Golden Moo. I am not. I am not done yet. The Golden Moo. I'm not done yet. But you have to understand, they don't get humiliated. This I'm not. I need to run for POTUS and BTV. The golden one. Thank you. TX Les Paul. HA, what does it matter if Trump wins if we lose the Senate? They need 2/3. TX Les Paul. That's what, 66 senators. I'm hearing both Graham and McConnell are in trouble. Graham's fine. McConnell. This is a TX Les Paul. That's what Mitch was doing. He was doing this to the challenger. I always laugh when this is better than a comedy routine, really. I was front row in Eddie Murphy Raw in the 80s. I haven't laughed harder since. This is so fantastic. This is so amazing. Amy McGrath was saying so many wonderful things about me during our debate. I don't think she realizes that they called me the Kentucky Terminator for a reason. Let me see what the polls are, which are totally cooked probably, but McConnell up 12. This is Quinnipiac. So, Nancy, you're trying to take your left-leaning candidates to Kentucky. You should know better than that, Nancy. Go eat your ice cream. Your $500 a pint ice cream. Nobody takes Democrats seriously. It's so hilarious. Even the left doesn't. TX Les Paul, thank you. I know it does go into Sean Connery. Sean Connery. Shake it, not stirred. Mike F. Under for president. Loud Citizen. When did he say this, though? Loud Citizen. I tried to find the quote. I can't find the quote. Loud Citizen, thank you. I just love, can I just tell you? I just love when she said that Trump was a grifter in chief. This is the best. Hello, Jet Barrett. Yes. The grifter in chief Trump, the illegitimate monster from Planet Orange, has obviously chosen you for his judicial concubine. And so I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions. Have you ever trafficked in the illegal koala bear trade, fur trade? A simple yes or no would suffice. Thank you. They just try. It's so great when they're just trying to disparage Amy Coney Barrett, and she just looks so like she looks so she just looks so intelligent, and and awesome. TX Les Paul, the Golden Moo. Thank you, Pete. Ricardo, thank you. Loud Citizen, thank you. It's just so interesting. They can't, it's like passive aggressive too. I'm telling you, it's so hilarious too.
Judge Barrett, I have to ask just a couple of questions. We asked this of Sandra Day O'Connor. I'm Sheldon Lighthouse. I'm the man who dropped all my slides and my placards yesterday. White House, sorry.
Sheldon Whitehouse. You couldn't get a less Democratic Party politician, let's say. I don't know where to... Anyway, Sheldon Whitehouse. This is a great name. You couldn't even make it up.
Judge Barrett, a simple yes or no. Did you feed great white sharks baby pit bulls? Yes or no? Okay. No, Senator, no. Okay, so you might have. That's fantastic. I want to give you a little lecture on money in politics. And as a Democrat who is a huge Hillary Clinton supporter, I'm going to give you a lecture on money in politics. Okay? I want you to listen to this lecture on money in politics. Do you have your own foundation where you can facilitate the sale of uranium capacity to Russia? Okay. Just answer the question. Senator, no. Okay, then. Okay, so you do. We can go on forever. This moment is exposed the extremist standing behind Amy Coney Barrett.
Like, this is so hilarious, too. It's like... They want to talk about fundraising. You don't have... Like, you've never seen more fundraising scandals than with Democrats. And most of the Democrats, like AOC, for example, most of the money she receives is from outside her district. And then the rebuttal is, but people in the district are poor. Aha! Are they still poor after, like, well, she couldn't change the district economically, fine. But, I mean, how often is she in the district? That's the thing. Like, the left is like, we have this champion. You're going to... the biggest gift to President Trump. Because the entire left, President Trump wins because of who he is, because of his policies, and because he goes up against a very dangerous and deceitful and disingenuous and dishonest system. And he reverses U.S. foreign policy. But another major reason that he wins is because the left is so inept. They're so inept. It's unbelievable. It's pretty unbelievable how inept they are. I know, I used to be on the left. I was so naive. Do you understand? I was so naive. JSpot51, thank you. I was so naive that I thought the FBI was autonomous. I would do these segments in 2016. Dear FBI, if you can please just look at the facts. You know, with and there's top secret intelligence on the servers. If you look at the facts, Bernie Sanders will win at the end of the day because I still think, I'm telling you as a Bernie Sanders supporter, I still think that Bernie would have defeated President Trump if they did not cheat him and if media wasn't in the tank for Democrats. If media used to be Media used to never care. Eric H526, thank you. Media never used to care. See, in 2000, when it was Gore Bush, media did not care. You could look at newscasts from 2000, and they were like, well, whatever, whoever wins. They didn't care. You will see tears coming down, reporters. Trump again. I can't believe this. You will see, because this is the thing. You had conservatives who were in media. And like I'm not talking about the conservatives who are Lincoln Project people. I'm talking about you had people who had different viewpoints in media. And you didn't have Twitter. You actually get rewarded. You actually get rewarded for absurd comments and for ideas that make no sense on social media. This is what props up, and then you get rewarded for hyperbole. You know, you get rewarded for irrational comments like people are losing their lives because there's no Medicare for all. Well, who are you voting for? Biden. But he would veto Medicare for all. But one day in the future, people's lives will be saved when the Messiah comes and the Democratic Party realizes that we will never stop annoying them. They don't care, actually, if you annoy them. They actually just want your vote. The people on the left who don't like Trump, who will not vote Biden, or who that I respect those people, because you know what? I was one of those people. And by the way, there's a direct line between Bernie 2016 and Trump 2020. A direct line. A direct line. And, you know, an absolute direct line. Lisa, thank you. So, oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, be here on this channel right after this segment, because I have an upload on this channel right after, immediately after. But they don't have, when people engage in hyperbole, that's an admission that they don't have an argument. So you have like imbeciles who are like, well, I would oppose the 1930s and 1940s Germans. No, you wouldn't. If you're on Twitter retweeting the Lincoln Project, you definitely would not. Or saying that Orange Man bad all the time, you definitely would not. The people who there's a historian I think it's Lawrence Reese. I forgot who the historian was. But he was talking about how the people who saved lives in at that time period were people who, not only people who had the John Lydon mentality, people who didn't fall in line, because the left expects you to fall in line. They're the ones who want to prevent thought, prevent debate, and they're the ones you've seen who have engaged in the most violence. So tell me more about that time period. It's the Democrats who link close. There's a closer link between the 1930s and 1940s Germans and the Democratic Party. And look at the way they view Israel. Look at the way a great many Democrats view. I don't even want to get into that discussion. But the people who would be different from the rest in the 1930s and in that country would be the Trump supporters of today, not the Democrats. The Democrats are the ones who are pushing for military interventions, and they're the ones who are pushing, because like when they bring up the bounties, they don't realize President Trump ended our involvement. We are slowly removing Americans from that region, so you don't have to worry about bounties when there's no Americans there. But they don't get that concept. To them, it's impossible to just leave countries. And, to them, they would rather have military interventions last forever. So, and they're the ones who engage in mass incarcerations. President Trump, who not only allocated more funding, permanent funding, to historically black colleges and universities than any president ever, than Bill Clinton or President Obama, but also signed prison reform legislation. And it was Clinton and Hillary who pushed the crime bill, and Biden who pushed a 100-to-1 sentencing disparity. PJP 72. Yeah. But, I mean, some places, James, thank you. Thank you, James. It's the people who you don't expect. Most people care what others think of them. Then there are Trump supporters who don't care and who will vote based on principle. There are so many good reasons to vote for President Trump. And you don't have an understanding of history, of a very poor grasp of history, if you think that Trump is a totalitarian or a tyrant or a despot. And I don't care if you find historians, because let's say you have a historian who makes that outlandish claim. Nobody calls this person on such a claim. He or she is never challenged. But the second anyone is challenged, they pull back. Well, it's like. What do you mean like? I thought you said it's a metaphor. Is. Well, no, but a word started all of that. It's like, whoa, here we go. This is how they defend the indefensible. Well, words started everything. Yeah, President Trump. First of all, he is said to have stated things that he never stated. So President Trump is accused of stating things he's never stated before. Both sides being one of them. He wasn't referring to, obviously, the horrible racists. But, ladies and gentlemen, be here in about 10 minutes. I have a... Be here in about 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. I have an upload on this channel. Lisa Lister, thank you so very much, Lisa. As always, you are absolutely wonderful. And thank you. Please be here November 3rd, Lisa. It's going to be fantastic. I know you will. This is going to... I don't think people don't realize that... People don't realize the end of a paradigm is taking place. There's the end of a paradigm. You have the end of a paradigm that started during the middle of President Obama's administration, where media, Hollywood, the Democratic Party all morphed into one entity. And they said, well, there will never again be... First of all, they went after Republicans. They said there'll never again be a Republican. Then, when that was true, actually, there's never again going to be a Jeb Bush or Mitt Romney type of Republican. Never. Never. That wins the presidency. The notion that President Trump would alienate any allies, that's fine with me. The allies need us. We don't need, the Democrats voted alongside Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld, though. So they did. That's revisionist history. It's without Clinton voted, Kerry voted along. That's why he lost in 2004. I was a Democrat my whole life, I know. Kerry lost in 2004 because he voted alongside Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld. Then he tried to say, well, it was a bad move. The Lincoln Project, the same people who wanted a marriage amendment, and Luke, thank you, the same people who wanted a marriage amendment, the same people who pushed for Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld's never-ending quagmires, are now voting for Democrats. So, but anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know when. But their mentality is, if we lost because of Comey a week before the election, we can win with Clinton a week before the election. I am not expecting anything until a week before the election. Could be sooner. But you're looking at maybe, around Halloween, which would make sense. Which would make sense. But there's a reason that this election is so much closer to Halloween than any other election. They lost in 2016, ladies and gentlemen, a week before the election. They lost in 2016, a week before the election. Because Comey restarted an investigation that was meant to be a cover-up. Comey restarted an investigation that was meant to be a cover-up. Because the cover-up, there was so much criminality, they couldn't cover everything up, so he found even more classified data. And then, okay, he's the reason. Without Comey, you might not have gotten President Trump to win. Okay, because those 70,000 votes, it could have been an even, smaller margin. Or he could have won by less than that. Because Comey at least himself accounted for either the 70,000 or close to the 70,000. Or more than, who knows? But if that could change the entire course of Democratic Party history a week before the election, they're not going to have any problem replacing Biden with a candidate who's actually better. That's the frightening part, ladies and gentlemen. Clinton is the best candidate they have. Quentin Baca, thank you. Quentin Baca, go Raiders. We're looking good. We're looking good, Quentin, after the Chiefs' victory. Huge Chiefs victory. If we don't win the Super Bowl this year, we'll win the Super Bowl next year. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Lisa Lister, thank you. Be here in about 10 minutes, people. 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, 10 minutes. Please be here on this channel in 10 minutes. Thanks, everybody. God bless. Be there tomorrow at 1 p.m. It's heating up. It's heating up. I'm telling you. I don't trust the Democratic Party as far as I can throw Jerry Nadler. That dorsal fin ain't flipper. It's Madam Secretary. Nobody writes them. No lifelong politician writes a Medium article when they could have just been published in the New York Times saying, yeah, Biden should be president. And you don't see anybody coming to Biden's defense. So they're going to have to address this issue. And it's not only this. There's so many other. He said he's running for Senate. I mean, the whole thing's been a charade from day one. Madam Secretary Clinton is going to replace Biden at some point. She'll be on that ballot. And President Trump's going 8 years, which is what I've been saying also for 4 years. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless. Be here in 10 minutes. I have an upload in 10 minutes. Cali boy! Hillary wanted Comey to do a press conference to make it out seem like they're not in bed together. So he knew she had the presidency wrapped up. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Cali boy. Thank you so very much. Everyone, God bless. I will see you in about 10 minutes on this channel. Be here tomorrow at 1 p.m. See you in 10 minutes, everybody. Eric, Luke, thank you.